Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 5 of What If Naruto Was Shisui's brother with the yellow Sharingan, guys. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new What If over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto was the Deadpool and Wolverine, guys. So go ahead and enjoy that. The link will be down in the description, guys. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification if you're new, because I do post a lot on my 3 other channels as well. So without further ado, or wasting more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin the intro. So the last part that we left off, Orochimaru was fascinated with Naruto. While Sasuke was also a Uchiha, Orochimaru found Naruto to be the superior between the two. However, it wasn't only that. When he gazed into those yellow eyes, the Sannin saw himself as number one, as he would have the power to surpass all of his foes. All of those that had tried to kill him in the past, he would be on top. The problem was Naruto had kicked away his killer intent and was now fighting. Both Naruto and the Sannin went head to head, as Naruto was pushing himself, using the strange ability that he seemed to possess, using the rays of the sun to empower himself. Orochimaru was surprised as a child, even placed him under a genjutsu, as Naruto gave it his all. However, the Sannin was just much stronger than him. As he knocked away Sasuke, he then knocked down Mito as well. He bit Naruto on the neck to transfer the curse mark over towards him. However, as Orochimaru expected Naruto to fall, he rose back up to his feet. As he was about to pull off the special technique that he has been working on, however, he failed and ended up harming himself in the process, and he passed out. Orochimaru even awoke in Mito by removing the seal off of her, because he did not want the young boy to die in the wilderness. He was too precious for that. Yes, he was far too precious for that. As Mito was able to carry both Sasuke and Naruto away, Sasuke came to sometime later, as the both of them were there to defend the unconscious Naruto. As for Naruto, he was trapped in his mind. The part of Orochimaru's soul that was imbued in the curse mark was trying to break Naruto's will, so that he could leave his lingering mark on him. However, someone arrived. It was her. She turned Orochimaru's soul into dust, like it was nothing, as she introduced herself. Her name was Amaterasu. She was the goddess of the sun, one of the gods that were prayed to by the Uchihas. She told him that this was not a conversation that he would remember, as she brought him to a plane of existence that was beyond his. She told him that his eyes were her doing. It was something that she gave on. She did not believe that she would ever see it awaken, though. She had placed this blessing on the clan a very long time ago, and she was happy to see that he awakened it. And she told him there will be darkness in his future. She cannot intervene, but she believed that with what he possessed, he can defeat it. Before she went away, she did something. She changed the seal. She changed it completely from the inside out. While that was going on, Naruto's team were fighting against the Sound Ninjas. As they were clashing against them, Naruto finally awoken. Orochimaru's sealing pattern was gone as it was a different one. The mark of the sun, flames, plastered over his body. They were glowing yellow. Naruto dispatched his own members like they were nothing. His speed and strength were beyond them. As they end up fleeing away, dropping their scroll and running for their life, knowing that this was not a fight that they could win. After which Naruto passed out. As they checked on him, he was fine. So they brought him towards a tower. There wasn't much that he could remember, but he knew deep down that he had to use his power for something. There was something that he was meant to use it for. As a mark on his neck, he believed that his body had overtaken it, having no recollection of Amaterasu or what they'd been through. So with that, the days passed. Hiruzen was notified by Anko and the others, but he chose to allow Naruto to participate in the exams, believing that drawing Naruto now would just be in bad fate. However, he needed to make sure that the child was capable of taking care of himself. If not, drastic measures had to be done. As both Mito and Sasuke came out on top in their matches, Naruto went down there to face off against Zaku. Zaku hit him with all that he got right off the bat. However, everyone was shocked as Naruto's speed was on a completely different level. Not only did he evade the technique, but he also was now standing behind Zaku as he quickly knocked him out. He did so without any effort at all, just to show how much stronger he has gotten. Kakashi brought Naruto to have the mark sealed away, but Naruto was trying to convince him otherwise. It was something that he could control. However, the problem was, even when they tried to seal away the mark, they failed. Yes. Every seal that Kakashi could think of as he placed it on the mark, they end up burning away, the ink vanishing like dust, leaving Kakashi rather shocked and confused. So they had to return, as Mito would be facing Neji in the finals. For some reason, she seemed rather angry. Being away from the situation, Naruto did not know what was going on, as Sasuke would be facing Temari, and Naruto would be facing Gaara. So that is how things were set for the finals, and they were given 1 month to train and prepare. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the play sector for yourself so to begin this new episode. Damn it! He failed once again as he collapsed downwards, his hands supporting him as he was on his knees. As his hands rested on the ground, so his face would not hit the dirt. Sweat was dripping off of his face like a faucet. His clothing was drenched. As he fell over on his back, exhausted, his hands were not looking so good. They had burn marks all over it. As he lay on his back, taking in deep breaths, Naruto Uchiha was exhausted. It's been 2 weeks since the preliminaries. They were all given 1 month to train to prepare for the finals. A lot has happened since. There was a lot that Naruto wanted to work on. A lot that he had to do by himself. Some that were very dangerous, of course. After all, there was still many techniques that he had learned from the Forbidden Scroll after copying the techniques in the Forest of Death with his eyes. So many. But what he was currently working on was his own special technique that he's been working on for months now. And even at a slow rate, he's still not close to completing it yet. It had to be perfect. There could be no flaws. What he intended to do with it was to make sure that once Itachi saw it, it would be the last thing that he ever saw. Naruto lay on his back as he looked up. Kakashi wanted to schedule a training between him and Sasuke, seeing that the both of them had made it to the finals, but Naruto did not need his help, as he wanted to work on this by himself. However, Kakashi didn't want to leave him high and dry, as he gave him a couple of scrolls, which he gathered from a few people as well. He also had Kurenai came by and help him with the genjutsu that he was working on, as Naruto's eyes were able to project genjutsu on multiple targets at once, with ease, more than any other. As Kurenai was trying to help him to focus his spiritual energy as well, yin and yang, she was trying to get him at a complete balance, because right now he was not balanced in the slightest. As for Mito, it wasn't long ago that she came to him, as she got a new trainer. She was being trained by one of the Sanins. How she pulled that off was a long story, but she was being trained by Jiraiya the Sanin. He was happy to hear that. Kakashi came by every now and again to make sure that he was alright. Also, he had to spend that entire day of nothing but testing from the Hokage's side. He wanted to make sure that the mark on Naruto's neck was not a problem. He also met Jiraiya the Sanin himself as well. The man had tried what Kakashi did. The problem was the mark could not be contained. Never had they come across something like this before. As the way they looked at it, the way their eyes move around, Naruto knew that they think it would be problematic. After all, more than once now he sensed people watching him. Yes, he saw shadows moving across. Out of his view, he's being watched. It seems that the Hokage did not fully trust what he had to say and believe that Orochimaru had a bit more sway over him than he thought. However, that was not possible. Naruto did not know why, but his body was special than most. Even special than your average Uchiha. And it was able to override whatever Orochimaru did to him. And that wasn't all. He's been tampering with it as well. Day by day, it absorbed the sun rays and kept it inside of the seal. He could tap into that power. Majority of the time it was overwhelming. It wanted to explode out of him. However, that would be problematic. He feared that the resulting explosion might erase everything around him. He had comrades, friends. He didn't want it to act up in a situation like that. So he's been slowly taking the sun rays from it and using it in his daily activities to get a better control and master over it. While it did not grant him any supernatural abilities or anything like that, it did enhance his strength and speed. What it did mostly was pushed his body, allowed him to access more and more and more, as he has not come across a limit so far. However, it could not help him in what he was doing. Still, he was not close yet to completing his technique. But he will get it done, and that was a promise. He will get it done. Naruto rose back up to his feet, wiping the sweat off his face as he got back to work. Despite the fact that his arms were burnt and were being slowly healed by the sun rays inside of his cells, he got back straight to work. While that was taking place, Jiraiya of the Sanin eyes widened as she falls from that height. He thought as he watched as Mito was plummeting to her death, until two massive hands extended outwards and caught her. As she collapsed, she was out like a light. The large, massive toad Gamabunta gazed down towards her, his interest having peaked as he had saved the girl's life. It was a challenge for her to stay on his back for the entire day. The day was not up, just a few small hours remaining, but Gamabunta saw something special within the girl. Therefore, he would accept her as one of their new summoners. A distance away, I think we should call it for the day, Kakashi Hatake said. No, Sasuke said as he pushed himself back to his feet, lousy with sweat, his eyes barely focused. A long time ago, he swore to Naruto that he was going to be in this as well. However, as things were going now, Naruto was getting stronger and stronger, and soon enough he would be left in the dust. He refused to let that happen. He would be there as well to get revenge for what that monster did. And he was not about to give up, not here and not now. Chidori, he said, as the sound of 1,000 birds could be heard. He thrust forward. Boom! The sizable explosion obliterated the rock platform. Kakashi stood over the unconscious Sasuke as he gazed up to the broken platform and looked back down towards the boy, who was out like a light. Time skip. When the day finally came, people from all over were here, as there was many promising candidates. The prodigy of the Hyuga clan, the son of the Kazekage, the brother of the traitor, Itachi Uchiha, and also the younger brother of Shisui Uchiha. There was many promising bloodline here. However, they will be shocked by many that they weren't really focusing on as well. Mito gazed around the area as she saw the amount of people. At first sight, it might be a bit intimidating to most, but not her as she stepped out, ready to face whatever challenge is ahead of her. And her match was the first match. As she arrived on the scene, she did not see Naruto anywhere, asking those that were on Konoha's side if they saw either Naruto or Sasuke, but none of them had seen them. As she wondered where could they be. Up above, the Hokage was seated as the Kazekage arrived and greeted him. Both men focusing their gaze down below as Hiruzen got to his feet. All attention was directed towards him as he started to speak. His words caused everyone to go quiet. But once he was done, there was an explosion of cheers. People were already making bets, and had already done so as well, and they were doubling down. A large portion of the people placed an obscene amount on Neji Hyuga, expecting him to come out on top. Not only was he not one of the main members, he was a branch member that was able to be recognized by the main as a prodigy. That was just a testament to his skill. Unfortunately though, some of the members weren't here, but their matches were not ready, so there's nothing to worry about. As Mito stood there, she wanted them to see her match as well, as she couldn't believe that they weren't here yet. As she felt something turning around, both Uchihas were just arriving. Kakashi Hatake not too far behind. Naruto had personally went to go and inform Sasuke that Mito was the one that was fighting first, and they needed to show their support. So here they were on time. A smile sprung to her face when she saw them, as all eyes were focusing down on the two Uchihas. Many people seemingly breathed a sigh of relief, because there was a lot of money bet on them. So much. Naruto gave Mito a nod, as she nodded back towards him, as Sasuke mounted the words. "Let's see what you've been doing," he said. "Just stand there and watch," she said, with a smirk on her face. As everyone was told to head up towards the spectator area, while Kakashi made his way in the stands with the other Jonins. "Late as usual. You're even rubbing it off on your student, huh, Kakashi? You know, that's not a very youthful trait You should teach them proper punctuality other than being late all the time like you are, Might Guy said to Kakashi. Kakashi turned and faced him. Oh, Guy, did you say something? Curse you, Kakashi, he said, and your hipful ways. As Kakashi turned his gaze, looking rather amused. As the match down below was about to begin, Neji did not seem pleased with this outcome. I thought you'd have realized that it was not your fate to win today and abstain from this match. Do you truly wish for humiliation that badly that you will go against your fate? The only thing that's gonna happen today is gonna be me kicking your ass for what you did to Hinata. I promise you, and I'm here to collect. Neji scoffed. As you wish, but you shall see today that no one can defy fate. As the proctor began the match, it started out slow. Mostly consists of Mito keeping her distance. After seeing the battle with him and Hinata, she knew this was not someone she could go toe to toe with. As if he hit her, he would seal off her points. However, as the battle progressed, she started to use more conventional terms, attacking him from a far distance with ninjutsu, mostly wind-based techniques, as she's come a rather far way from the beginning of not knowing any but now having a couple under her belt. However, Neji still believed that all of this was just a waste of time, as everyone was surprised that she was actually keeping up. However, as Neji realized if this battle went on for much longer, it would drain him instead of doing that to her. So he went for the finishing blow right away. However, her clones came in as a problem as he could not tell between them. When they all rushed in, Neji pulled off a rather surprising technique, as he blew them away with a rotation. Even the upper heads of the Hyugas looked shocked, so they did not know either then. Hayashi was surprised. Hinata stood in the stands looking worried. As the match progressed, Mito refused to give, as they clashed against one another. Her using her distance means him trying to get her, but he could not, as she used her clone and her techniques. Their fighting led to her making a comment about him being so ruthless on his family. Neji got so angry, he shouted at her that she knew nothing, she understand nothing. As he started to speak, he started to tell her what the clan truly was behind the scenes, what it really was, what was really there, and that her words are meaningless. She did not understand the scope of what was going on. However, even after his revelation, that seemed to trigger Hayashi Hyuga. Mito slammed her fist in her chest. I don't care, she said. You weren't the only one that was cursed with something. But I've chosen to define my own fate. All you talk about is fate this and fate that. Like you're locked away in some kind of prison cell. I don't care about your damn mark because you weren't the only one branded with a seal. So enough of your nonsense. Fate can always be defied. And I'm going to show you that today, here and now. No one makes your fate except for you, she said. Once again, the battle kicked off, as the both of them clashed against each other, not holding back. Neji was able to catch her, and once he did, he relentlessly lay waste to her. His attacks were fast and quick. They came in with a ferocity. It's over, he said. As I said, no one can defy fate. I told you, I'm the one that decides my own fate. She got to her feet as she brought her hands together. What could you possibly be doing, he said to her. Haven't you noticed that Neji was cut off. Up above, Hiruzen was shocked. Since when was this girl able to use the power of the Nine Tails, he thought, as Mito was covered in an orange glow, and she started channeling the power even more. The battle kicked up once again, as Neji tried his best, but he was getting exhausted. As he thrust his rotation, Mito clashed against it with a powerful gale attack. Wind versus Dome. As Neji attack came out, he was panting. "It's over," he said as Mito was on the ground. He was exhausted. However, the real Mito exploded out with a brutal uppercut. She summoned two clones and kicked him in the sky. They grabbed onto each other, using each other as support. As they performed a brutal combo, everyone was speechless as they all planted their foot into his stomach. Boom! Neji spread eagle on the ground. Mito landed, taking a few deep breaths. "Now it's over," she said. She reached down and grabbed him by the shirt and lifted him up. "I saw Hinata, even while she was still in the hospital after what you did to her. She didn't want me to hurt you. She forgave you. Given the messed up crap that you've been through, all she wanted was to be there for you, but you're so stubborn and ignorant that you haven't even seen that. I told you this, and I'll tell you once again. The only one that can make fate is you. You can determine your fate, not some damn mark, not some damn seal. Do you hear me?" she said. Neji was looking at her like he's went through a complete understanding of some kind of new religion, some new understanding. As he just gazed at her, the proctor coming in and calling the match because Neji was done. Everyone was quiet until a few people started to clap and thunderous applause reigned. Mito stood there with a surprised look on her face. As the people called her name, they were cheering, clapping for her. It brought a smile to her face as Neji was taken. Hayashi picked himself up as he made his way to visit the boy in the hospital. I guess all of that training did have some benefits, Sasuke said. You know that you lowballing her will just get her pissed, Naruto said. Sasuke simply shrugged his shoulders. As there was a break for around 5 minutes until the next name was called. Well, I guess it's your time. Don't worry, pretty boy. I won't mess up that face of yours too badly, Temari said with a smile. Sasuke looked at her like she had grown a second head or something. He didn't say anything as he made his way off. You know he's gonna lose, right? Kankuro said as Naruto turned towards him. Would you bet your life on that? Naruto asked. Him up against my sister? Yeah, he's gonna lose. You still haven't answered my question, Naruto said, as he gave him a look. As Kankuro turned his gaze just to watch and see, he said, as the both of them faced each other down there. Naruto could feel the eyes staring at him. He glanced over his shoulder as his eyes met with Gaara. As Gaara frown turned into a smile, he was truly and really looking forward to their battle. Extremely so, given that psychotic look on his face. As the match started down below, Sasuke underestimated her, and he realized that quickly when she started to swing that giant fan of hers around. However, he soon started to lock in. Sasuke's speed was his greatest advantage here, as he could get away from her attack rather easily. Lee was surprised that his speed had grown that much. Lee had watched Naruto and Sasuke's match, as he was still believing in them, being prodigies over his hard work, and yet, look at his speed now in just 1 month. Temari was trying her best to keep up as Sasuke launched several fireballs towards her. He sped through hand sign and ran through another technique. It was lotuses of flames. Around 10 of them came at the same time. She used her fan to cause a massive inferno away from her, but that was just a diversion. Her eyes widened as he was behind her. She swung, using her fan to glide upwards, as she was able to jump right on top of it. However, to her surprise, even at this distance he was still able to dodge her attack. He was much faster than she expected. Sasuke stopped playing around as he decided to end this. He wasted enough time as he activated Sharingan. He dashed towards her as Temari tried to keep him at bay, but the moment he got close, her hand-to-hand combat was not greater than his. Once he got that fan out of her hand, it was done. A kunai placed at her throat. Temari was lying on her back. As Sasuke gazed down towards her with those cold, calculated gaze, up in the Hokage's boot, Orochimaru, under the disguise of the Kazekage, watched with piqued interest on his gaze. However, the real match was about to begin anytime now. As Sasuke came out victorious, the cheers and applause went off. Another round of betting was set. More people want to double down on this match after witnessing what one Uchiha can do. So they doubled down on him, as many people were doubling down on Naruto. The spectators, consisting of daimyos and very influential people, their gaze was focused. Mito wished him good luck. Sasuke simply gave him a look. As Naruto stepped down there, Gaara was smiling the entire time. The proctor asked them if they were ready. They both nodded as they were told to begin. Once the proctor jumped away, Gaara started to speak. The moment I saw you, I knew the both of us was just alike. That look in your eyes, it's similar to the one that I have, but mine is much greater. However, out of everyone else here, you will be the one. Your blood will be the one to spill for mother. Naruto looked at him a bit confused. You will be the one to enlighten me. You will be the one that will allow mother to feast, he said. Everyone was on the edge of their seat for this match, hearing about the tendencies of the Kazekage's son. Here is in focus down below in the match. As Naruto did not activate his eyes, he simply stood there. Now, die, Uchiha, he said. His hand shot outwards and came at Naruto like a tidal wave, with the intention to crush him. And that is exactly what it did to most of the observers. Many people were shocked by that, unable to witness the speed that Naruto moved at. Was he dead? Many of them thought. However, Gaara snapped his gaze to the right when his hand came up and blocked him from the three kunais. He did not even see them. His hand came up and blocked him from behind, and then from the left and from the front. What the hell? Gaara said, looking around, trying to pinpoint him, as his hand could feel the danger coming close and was blocking them, but Gaara could not see where they were coming from or where he was. It seems that the sandboy can't keep up. Many of them start to whisper amongst the crowd. Enough, Gaara said as his hand shot outwards, ripping the ground apart and shooting out like bullets. Gaara looked around. That probably got him, he thought. He snapped his gaze up as he saw the shadow on the ground. Descending from the sky was Naruto, without any backup plan, as he seemed like he was about to fall to his death. Gaara smirked as he shot his sand out like a spear. The sand slammed right through Naruto. As Gaara smirked, ready to see the blood draining down on his sand and drenching it into that dark color that he loved so much. However, Naruto's body suddenly erupted with flames. His body erupted in a pool of flames, swallowing that portion of the sand. Gaara was surprised. A clone, he said. But that wasn't any ordinary clone that he's come across before. It was made from flames. Gaara-san came up and protected him once again. As it saved him once again. What the hell? As he could not see where they were coming from. Gaara then realized something. Those eyes. Illusion, he thought. He started to pulse his chakra. And Naruto started to become visible. You think your silly tricks would work on me? Oh, I know they did, said Naruto. I mean, look at yourself. Gaara looked around when he noticed all the kunais that were thrown had explosive tags on them, triggered by chakra. As Naruto brought his hand up, boom! Thrown away from the location, Gaara slammed into the wall. Luckily, his body was protected by his sand, as it was slowly breaking off of him. The moment he picked himself up, a raging inferno came bearing down towards him as he blocked it. The heat was so intense that his sand started to become stagnant. As he moved away, Naruto appeared behind him, shocking him. Naruto slammed a brutal kick under his chin, lifting his back foot as he turned. As he bypassed the speed of the sand. Before Gaara could even blink, a punch slammed into his guts, causing his eyes to widen. Moving with raw, intense speed, Naruto appeared behind him and knee him in the back before his leg came down and slammed. However, Gaara-san came out and blocked his head. However, Naruto flipped away as he pulled on the wires that he wrapped around Gaara. The moment he did so, he blurred through hand sign and released an inferno going straight down the wires. Gaara-san shot upwards and once again, it protected him as Naruto appeared behind him. The moment the sand went up, another flash of sand wave went up as Naruto appeared to his right and then to his left. He was moving so fast it seems like there was two of him. But in actuality, it was just a substitution after effect, mixed in with his raw speed, as Naruto's fist crashed into his face. Gaara was thrown when he heard a sizzling sound, as he did not even notice when Naruto placed the paper bomb on his boom. Gaara crashed into the wall, surprised, angry, but very surprised, as his outer layer that protected his true form inside cracked. Immediately he pulled his sand towards him. As he cloaked himself, hiding away, Naruto stepped forward as he simply looked at the orb. He stood there waiting, when suddenly he went through hand sign, fire style. Ring of death, he said. As he brought his hand down, his hand generated flames that created a ring that surrounded the orb. Hiruzen was surprised. That technique, that was an A-rank technique. Where on earth did Naruto get that from? None of the scrolls that he had handed over had that technique inside of it. It was borderline S-like because of the amount of chakra that it took. As Naruto's hand was a conduit which he used to empower the thing. On the inside, Gaara started to sweat as the heat started to be kicked up and kicked up and kicked up. Even the people on the stand started to sweat as the flames started to rise and rise and rise and rise until it became taller than where the orb was situated. Everyone started to pull back slightly and even squint their eyes as the sand, the Celsius was becoming too hot. The sand was being greatly affected. As Naruto saw his opportunity, he pushed off with an obscene amount of force. At the last moment, there was a spark of electricity. Just a little flash. As everyone was surprised as Gaara was thrown. Gaara slammed into the wall. A shock looked marred in his face. Temari and Conqueror were also shocked as well. As they realized what he did, he heated up the sand, close enough to the point that he could break through, and that lightning was an attack that he used to further puncture right through. Just how strong was he? However, they were all stopped when Gaara started to scream, as his stomach was leaking blood. Seeing his blood trigger his demonic senses as he lost his mind, he screamed out about his blood. The bone-chilling scream triggered everyone to how horrific it was. Gaara started to pull himself back up as he started to draw on that power. Seeing what he was doing, Naruto started to draw on his power as well as he closed his eyes. When he opened them, his Sharingan came to life. Throughout the whole battle, this was the first time that he was actually awakening his eyes, just to show how much stronger he has gotten. However, Naruto immediately noticed something. What the hell? It was feathers. Boom! 3 explosions at once. The Hokage box was filled with smoke. Chaos started to rain all over, as things picked up rather quickly. Sasuke was told to help the other Genins. Kakashi had full faith that Naruto could stop Gaara, as Mito headed out there as well. However, Gaara's siblings were also out there. He told Sasuke to head with them, along with Shikamaru and Shinu as well, as they will cover things here. As things picked up rather quickly, Sasuke was forced to stop to take on Kankuro, while both Shinu and Shikamaru were stopped by Temari as she released her fan, aiming to blow them away. As for Naruto and Mito, Temari could not get close to her brother anymore as he lost his cool. He screamed out Uchiha, bloodlusted and hateful. As Mito felt the sensation that was coming from him, he was like her. Both her and Naruto shot forward. Gaara was strong, but unlike before, it wasn't Naruto alone anymore, and his sand defense wasn't as fast as before. It seems his more animalistic side took over, the beast inside of him. As Mito delivered a brutal punch, Naruto followed up by a massive kick to the face. They started to beat the living crap out of him with the intention to knock him out. The problem was, that was a problem knocking him out. Realizing that he was about to fail, Gaara released his power as Naruto stood there shocked. Mito had an idea as she summoned. "What the hell is that?" said Naruto, breaking composure. "Kamikichi? What the hell are you doing here?" Mito said. "You summoned me." "I meant to summon your dad," she said, as she went through hand sign once again, this time tapping into the Fox Reserve. Summoning Jutsu as Gamabunta arrived, both of them on his head. "The second time you summon me, and you summon me to fight a goddamn tail beast. I knew that you were gonna be trouble. Are you gonna help me or not? Because if I'm not mistaken, you said I was your summoner now." "Fine, but remember, this is a collaboration." As he pulled his blade, he started to attack the massive beast. However, Shikaku was just too powerful. As Naruto started to think about something, as he remembers something from when he first saw the fox inside of Mito. He also remembered the whispers that his brother told him not to worry about. The Nine Tails was being controlled by a Sharingan. "Get me close enough so I can subdue him." "Huh? And how the hell are you gonna do that, brat?" Gamabunta said, "Just do it. Once I subdue him, we can cut him down." "Fine, but I need something to hold him down. As you can see, I don't have any claws or fangs." "Hey kid, let's pull off a transformation." And they indeed transform into the massive Nine Tails, with Naruto on the top of the head. As Naruto rushed down and looked directly into Shikaku's large eyes, immediately Naruto felt the strain Shikaku stopped moving as he seemed to go still. Poof! Gamabunta returned back with Mito. I can't hold him for too long. Take him down, said Naruto. Mito used Naruto's shoulder as a springboard as he jumped. As Shikaku was unable to move, his eyes showing the yellow Sharingan, Mito delivered a brutal punch that snapped Gaara head to the right. As his eyes opened up, she wasn't done though. It's over, she said as she pulled her head back and slammed it into his, forcing Gaara to come to his senses fully. As the beast returned back in its cage without any fight because Naruto was controlling it. Gamabunta gazed up slightly, so young and yet already able to control a tail beast. Kids these days, Gamabunta said. Gaara, having just reverted back, has lost a lot of his strength. As Naruto jumped down and landed, immediately he reached for a kunai. His intention was clear. Wait! Naruto paused as Mito was standing there. Don't kill him, she said. What? Mito stepped forward. Stay away. Stay away from me. I won't allow you to erase my existence, Gaara shouted. Naruto stood there as Mito started to speak to him. She felt sympathy for him. She felt bad for him. They were similar. She was also a Jinchuriki. You're nothing like him, said Naruto. Yeah, that's because I have people like you in my life. Him on the other hand, I don't need anyone, Gaara said. That is what makes me strong. You're wrong. That's what makes you weak. I was once told that what truly makes you strong is to have precious people to fight for you. The reason why we're not alike is because I have precious people in my life. I have one here standing right now, she said. You on the other hand, I've seen your siblings interact with you, but you push them away because you believe that gives you strength, but you're wrong. It was minutes after that Temari and Kankuro came rushing away from Sasuke and the recovery group. Naruto held his hand out, stopping them. We have them, what are you doing? Sasuke said. No, don't, Temari said, believing that they were going to kill Gaara. That is when Baki landed. As Baki stepped forward as Naruto gazed, turned and meet him. As he looked into those eyes. Wait, I'm not here to fight. All of this was a sham. Orochimaru tricked us and used us to attack your village. Naruto looked at him with a skeptical gaze. However, his Sharingan was activated and he could tell the man was not lying. Mito looked down towards Gaara as Temari and Kankuro came to his side, helping him up. As Gaara simply looked at her, not knowing what to say, as he lowered his head as he was taken away by his siblings. Have your people moved out, said Naruto, looking at Baki. Yes, the sand will no longer be a problem, he said, as he took off in the same direction as his team, as Shikamaru and Shino stood there. Surprised that the two of them alone was able to take down that thing. However, they couldn't afford to waste time. They had to get back to the village. Time skip. It seems that the heavens itself was aware that Hiruzen Sarutobi had taken its final breath. As the rain poured down, it showered rain. It screamed down upon them. Naruto stood by Mito. Him and the Hokage were not as close as Mito and the Hokage. As he comforted her, Sasuke standing there as well. A lot of people had fell during the attack, but Konoha came out on top. However, Orochimaru retreated after killing Hiruzen Sarutobi. Once again, the Sannin has brought shame down upon the village. First his defection and now this. A problem if there ever was one. As people were there to mourn and cry for the ones that they lost. Time skip. It was Kiba that informed him that Mito had left the village, along with Jiraiya of the Sannin, as they were going on an urgent mission. She has been a bit overwhelmed. Losing someone that is close to you was never something good. So this would be a good opportunity for her to clear her mind and clear her head. The Sand was tricked after all with Orochimaru being the one to do so. As Naruto reached up and touched his neck, the Sannin had something planned. He wasn't sure what it was, but it couldn't just stop here. And he believed that he was involved. As Naruto decided to do some training. As a few days went by, everything was quiet. Kakashi was sent out on solo missions. Also sent with a Chunin group first and then a Jonin group. The village needed the money for the reconstruction as well. So ninjas were being sent out one after another. As Naruto and the others were helping within the village. As a lot of damage has been done. A lot of damage. However, they haven't gotten any missions yet, as the Genins were not being focused on at the moment. Speaking of that, they weren't given any estimate on if they would be promoted or not. The village was without a Hokage at the moment. So things were not moving forward, they were at a standstill. At the moment Naruto was making his way, there was something that he wished to speak to Kakashi about. Something that might help his technique come along much faster. He met Sasuke along the way. However, Kakashi wasn't at their random meeting spot. He said that he met Kakashi earlier for some training, but he said that he would meet him back here in a couple of hours, but he wasn't here. The both of them saw Jonins rushing towards where the hospital was. As they gazed at one another, "What do you think it is?" "I don't know," said Naruto. "Let's go and see." As they made their way, arriving towards that hospital, they saw Might Guy heading towards one of the rooms. As they headed inside, they heard some chatters. When Sasuke saw, "What the hell? What's going on here? Why is Kakashi unconscious? And what are all you Jonins doing in here?" Everyone looked rather surprised. And they look caught, like they were trying to hide something. Naruto's gaze snapped towards each and every one of them, when suddenly, a ninja known as Radio stepped in. Is it true that Itachi Uchiha came to the village, and he's looking for Mito Uzumaki? Immediately, Naruto's Sharingan flared to life. The word, the name, it triggered him. Same for Sasuke as his fist clenched. Damn it. Guy said as Naruto ran into the room and jumped through the window as he crashed on the building nearby. As he took off at his fastest, Sasuke was gone down the halls. "You idiot," Guy said. As Radio looked rather guilty and ashamed. He did not even notice them. Having a brief idea on where they were, leaving the village heading out of what Naruto was told, the both of them did not hesitate to flee the village. They did not even second guess their actions. They just ran and ran and ran, heading straight out, not before speaking to the gate guard, Katetsu, who had no idea what was going on, but he proceeded to inform them that Mito and Jiraiya had left some time ago, and they headed towards that area. They took off. They tried to stop them, but they were already gone the moment they came out of the booth. What the hell? They said, looking at one another. What the hell was going on? They had no idea. They should tell someone, as they couldn't really leave the gate like this. As Naruto and Sasuke, no words were said. but the both of them knew exactly what they had to do as they breezed down. Meanwhile, Mito found herself in a situation as she stepped out of her room. That's him. He looked just like Sasuke, except Sasuke didn't have those lines in his face. Come peacefully, and you won't get hurt. Look at her. She's itching to make a move. Kisame, his partner, said. How about I remove her legs so she can't run? Remove my legs? Mito said, as she looked at the two powerful people standing in front of her. Mito was prepared to fight. She snapped her hands together, channeling her chakra until Kisame waved his blade down. She looked at her hands confused. What did you... Oh, well you see, Samehata over here enjoyed devouring chakra. And it seemed like Samehata liked yours a lot. Before any other word could be said, Itachi jumped away, right into Mito's room as the wall exploded. He flipped through the window and landed. Kisame stood at the broken wall. What the hell was that? He said. As he jumped down, Itachi stood there. Hey Itachi, who the hell are these brats? Naruto, Sasuke, Mito said, as the both of them stood there, their bodies twitching every few seconds. Itachi, Sasuke said. Immediately, lightning started cackling on his hand. Naruto, on the other hand, did not move or speak. His eyes were just swirling, veins popping underneath his eyes. That's some chakra down there, especially from that one, Kisame said. He pointed his blade at Mito. Don't think I forgot about you. Bastard, she said. Let's just see how this is gonna play out. I don't get to usually watch Itachi fight, and they are his own kind after all. Sasuke charged forward as Naruto had yet to move, with the sole intention of killing Itachi. However, Itachi grabbed his arm as he slapped Sasuke like it was nothing. He looked at him with disappointment. All of your talk and your words are meaningless because you do not possess the strength to back it up. He broke Sasuke's wrists as he kicked him away. He appeared and gripped Sasuke by the head as he slammed him against the wall. I don't have much time to play with you. However, he had to jump away as he was almost hit. He turned. I thought I made it clear last time. If you think the few years that has passed was enough to change anything, then you are just as delusional as you thought you could defeat me as before. Naruto did not speak as his body was trembling. Flame patterns started to arrive all over him as he started to slowly release a heat out of his mouth. His eyes were spinning so fast they were becoming blurs in his socket. What the hell is that? Kisame said, feeling something off with this one. Even Samehata could feel it. It was like the very air itself was burning. Naruto pushed off as Itachi brought his kunai up that he pulled with such ease. However, when the kunai in Naruto's hand made contact with it, the two weapons broke into pieces with the amount of force that Naruto drove off with. Itachi actually jumped back slightly as Naruto attacked him. Itachi was not surprised. He was not surprised by this level of strength. If anyone would be able to gain this much strength in that short amount of time, it would be his brother. Both of them clash. Mito wanted to help, but this big guy was blocking her way. Damn it, pervert. Where are you when I need you, she said, as Jiraiya wasn't here. Naruto did it. He threw out everything that he had, forcing Itachi to back away from the town. As Naruto did not stop, he attacked relentlessly, again and again and again. Having enough, Mito created 100 clones, just for distraction, as one of them helped Sasuke up. Mito ran, both of them heading out there. They had to go. As for Naruto, he didn't understand. He didn't understand. It didn't make sense. He was doing everything that he remotely possibly can. He threw his most dangerous techniques. He punched with all of his might. He kicked with all of his might, yet at the moment, Naruto found himself slammed into a tree, held by the throat, as Itachi looked up at him. As I said to you before, the time that has passed changed nothing. As Itachi activated those eyes, trying to break Naruto's mind into submission, Naruto felt lost, beaten, hopeless. How could he still be this strong? What the hell? What the hell? He screamed. All that training, day after day, night after night, and he still couldn't beat him. He didn't understand. It didn't make sense. Naruto lost his composure. Even under the Tsukuyomi, he screamed, and his body reacted. All of that energy, it started to be produced in one blast. What he did not want to happen, but he was too angry. He was so angry. Naruto screamed violently, tearing and ripping everything apart. The heat melting everything. Itachi jumped away, confused and surprised. But he placed him under the Tsukuyomi. What was going on? Itachi said, not understanding. What the hell was going on? He never expected Naruto to be this strong. While it might not look that way, Itachi was actually putting effort out. However, the way he fight, it seems like he was not, but he was actually putting effort into the battle, as Naruto had grown far stronger than Sasuke. But this power, this heat, that mark, Itachi saw what was about to happen. As Mito and Sasuke arrived, Naruto Mito screamed out. Sasuke eyes widened as Naruto body erupted. A violent blast. Itachi glanced behind him as he saw the two. They would also be enveloped. It seems like him tampering with Naruto's mind with the Tsukuyomi. It paused Naruto's restraint. Therefore, he was unable to hold it back. All of that power. As Itachi's eyes once again swirled, a massive red construct erupted. Another form, another power of those majestic eyes. The Susanoo. Blocking the powerful blast. Itachi was alarmed and shocked as the thing was melting his Susanoo. He stepped back. The heat melted through. However, it was able to block majority of it, causing both Mito and Sasuke to move away. But they could still feel the scorching, burning sensation as they tumbled down to the ground. As Kisame finally caught up on the scene, Jiraiya blazing towards the scene as well. Half of the forest that they had found themselves in was gone. As the attack had pushed backwards, majority of it was blocked by the Susanoo. Itachi stepping back. His arm of his cloak was burnt, just to show the magnitude of the heat despite his protection. When the dust and the smoke cleared, Mito got up as Jiraiya landed on the scene. Where is he? Where? Mito ran, not caring for anything else as she stepped right into the epicenter of the blast. It burned her feet. She dropped to the ground as it burned her hand, but yet she clawed through the dirt and the rubble. He must be buried underneath it. She claw and claw and claw, refusing to stop. Mito! Sasuke dragged her out of it. Let me go! He's underneath it, she prayed and begged to him to let her go. She shouted for him to release her, but she did not even see the damage that she was doing to her own body. Her hands and legs were burned badly. However, Sasuke gripped onto her tightly as she tried to fight him off. Sasuke's body was stiffened as well as he saw no signs of Naruto. He was gone. Time skip. As Naruto was lying on the ground, unconscious, in a dark place, fully alive, someone stood over him. What do we do now? A voice said to the right. Now we wait. The person said. Their features were hidden by a mask. The only thing that was being shown was a single eye hole on the mask. And inside of it was a Sharingan. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.